The Short Take with Alex and Jake.
Hello and welcome to The Short Take, the podcast where we talk about all things short films, apart from when we don't. I'm your host Jake, and with me as ever is my co-host Alex.
That's me.
That is you. How are you doing this week?
I'm alright.
Yeah?
I'm very tired.
Very tired.
Yeah.
Is it from watching this film we're about to review?
Yeah. No, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about why you're tired or about the film?
We're only going to talk about why I'm tired.
Okay.
At the very end, we'll give a thumbs up or a thumbs down that you can't see because it's an audio format, and that will be the review.
You just have to guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the comment this week. Was it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
And in order to tell us which one, you have to comment a picture of a smiley face either upside down or right side up.
Okay.
Rather than a thumb up or thumb down.
Very niche.
Yeah.
Very niche. This week we are reviewing a film from 2015 called Power/Rangers, which is a fan film of Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, following the first season's characters. The synopsis online is simply a dark and gritty reimagining of the classic franchise. But I've written down a little bit more just to give a general overview of what the film's about.
Okay.
So the machines have won, the Power Rangers have disbanded, and a few of them have even defected to the other side, to the machines. Earth and the machines have signed a treaty, and the machines just live among them now.
What a world.
I know, crazy, isn't it? Kimberly, who is the former Pink Ranger, has been captured by Rocky, who is the former second Red Ranger.
Yeah.
And is being interrogated because Rangers are being knocked off. Someone's killing them. And Rocky thinks it's Tommy, who is the former Green Ranger, turned White Ranger, turned Red Ranger, turned Black Ranger. Like, he's in so many of them.
I mean, before we get into this,
I think...
Do we know for a fact what the continuity of this is? This is just straight after Mighty Morphin, nothing else has happened. Does that make sense?
Yes, I believe nothing else has happened, yeah.
So it's straight after Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Maybe just before, I don't know how it ends.
I don't even understand if they all take place in the same world. I guess they do because of crossovers and stuff, isn't
Yeah, they all take place in the same world, which is wild.
Yeah. Force. See what I did there?
Fuck's sake. There's a bunch called Wild something, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Jungle something.
So, first question.
Yeah.
What Power Rangers did you watch growing up?
Okay, so growing up, I watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because I had the movie, which was very good. The movie starring Ivan Ooze. I didn't star who, he was like the bad guy, but to me it did. He's great. But that was the original Rangers. For the most part, it was... Trini wasn't in it because the actress had died.
Which is referenced in this film.
And I believe... Zach isn't in it. I think another guy is the Black Ranger. It's not Zach.
Okay, interesting.
It
I
is
didn't know that.
I don't know why, and I don't know if it was a case of him being in the show or if it was just the film.
And this is the film.
Yeah, and the rest of them were the same. I think the film is Rocky rather than Jason as the Red Ranger, and then Tommy is the White Ranger.
Yes.
So that's the film I had, and then I also had a couple of videos of just like, I guess collections of like, it was just 2 or 3 episodes on a video. Including one that was like really creepy about like a clown, and the clown would like turn people to like 2D cardboard people, and it was really freaky as a kid. It scared me.
That sounds like a Doctor Who episode.
It's really scary, and it's so low budget that makes it creepier. But he, in that one, it didn't have. It was before Tommy, so it was like all the originals with Trini. In fact, it specifically is about Trini's little sister or something coming to the circus with them.
Right.
And it had Jason rather than Rocky. And then after that, I definitely watched some of Wild Force. I think that's what it's called.
There is one called Wild Force, yeah.
Yeah, which I think, again, is an earlier one. I watched the Ninja one quite a bit, Ninja Storm, that's it. And then I also watched Dino Thunder a little bit, which was actually quite cool.
So this makes sense completely, because
the
you're like
stuff,
about
right?
2 years older than me.
Yes.
And I'm about 2 years behind.
What can you tell me the years of these?
So Mighty Morphin Power...
Obviously, that was like 90s, right?
First of all... Can you guess how many variations there are on the Power Rangers?
Okay, wait.
This is a very quick.
Let me... So just the different like head titles sort of thing for them, essentially.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. So you have... I know you have, obviously,
You're
Mighty
not going to be
Morphin.
able to list them all.
I can try. Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
Then they had something like a Time one or something time cops essentially.
Yeah, you've already missed 8.
Okay, give me a sec. I'm not going in order.
Okay.
They had one that was like a time cop thing. They had one that like was Z something Warriors. Is that on there or something? Or Force, Z Force or something like that?
There's Time Force. Which
Time Force is the one I was
talking
about before. There's one that has like a Z or an X in it.
Yeah.
Something. Is it Warriors or Office?
It's just called Power Rangers Zeo.
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 3.
That's the one where Tommy is the Red Ranger.
Weird.
Yeah.
Then there's the one where they had cars. They had fast cars.
They all have like
No,
Zords.
no. It's specific. Like they were specifically all about cars.
There's another one where they're specifically all about trains.
Yes,
which
there is. I
wild.
forgot. That is wild. That's a newer one, right?
Yeah, that is a newer one.
Wild Force, Dino Thunder, Ninja Storm.
Go on.
Ninja Storm had a
one.
guinea pig in it as the master. I remember that. That was great.
Oh my god, did it?
Yeah. Then you have.
Who's the one with the dog? Oh, that's the next. That's the one you've not got
They had a
yet.
samurai one that I never watched because again it was like way later. I want to say.
The Super Samurai.
Yeah. Jungle Fury, was it called?
Yeah, Jungle Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was like stuff that I think was like kind of what year was that?
Jungle Fury was 2008.
Yeah, so I
you
feel
were
like
way
it's
too old.
just after. But then I feel like it's like coming out of where it's like I'm in the sphere of it. Like I know it's happening.
guess, yeah,
but I'm just not
maybe.
watching it. Is it called like High Speed or RP something? Yeah, RPD or something like that. Rescue something.
You're kind of mashing 3 or 4 together into one because they all have such similar names.
Yeah.
I think you're taking too long.
Well, the question was how many, wasn't it?
Yeah, just
I'm gonna
stab in the
guess
dark.
32.
IMDb says 29.
That's not
You're
far
not far
off.
off.
In fact, if we just postpone releasing this for like 2 weeks,
There'll be more.
there'll be the 3 more.
Yeah. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original series, debuted in 1993.
Okay.
Which we were both way too young for.
I was dead.
Yeah.
Like-
you were dead.
I
Yes,
consider
you were
myself,
dead.
I'm not alive, therefore I'm dead. 2 states of being.
Yep. Then it was followed by Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, which I think is a direct sequel. So I think it's still
Oh,
similar
never heard of
characters.
that.
Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time
Lightspeed
Force,
Rescue is one I was thinking of.
Wild Force, which is the one you started with. Wild Force?
Yeah, Wild Force I think is kind of, what year would that have been?
2002.
That adds up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's when I think that's when my family had TV and had the ability to watch like Fox Kids or whatever it was on. And
It was on Fox for Kids.
there you go.
Yeah. And then Ninja Storm, which is
Yeah,
where I
I-
started.
I remember that one quite
I
vividly.
watched the tail end of Ninja Storm. I didn't watch too much of it.
So there's those 2 Cool Ranger guys who are like the blue and the dark kind of movie red.
Yeah.
And
Crimson.
like and they're kind of bad guys and then they become good guys.
Same in every series,
So
man.
that's Tommy.
Yeah. And then Dino Thunder is the big one for me. That's the one I watched loads.
I watched loads of Dino Thunder
My
as
first
well.
childhood crush was the Yellow Ranger.
Yeah, she was cool, and it had Tommy in it, and it's a really
It
cool.
did, yeah.
And it was a cool idea. It was like him as like
The
a
Black Ranger.
yeah, and he was like a teacher at their
Yeah,
school,
he taught them.
and then
No, he was like a paleontologist.
he was.
And then they found the
Which
the
I love how
gems.
it feels like that makes sense, but when you think about it, it does not.
No,
Like,
not in the
why did Tommy
slightest.
become a paleontologist?
Yeah.
And doesn't it take place like? I think it's meant to take place somewhere in America, but it clearly is in like New Zealand or something. But yeah, I
I
that was
loved
a cool
Dino
one. And
Thunder.
it had that giant Brachiosaurus Megazord.
That was the
thing.
Black Ranger's
Yeah, it was
Megazord,
cool.
yeah.
That was cool.
There was a White Ranger at some point as well. I don't remember who he was.
I do. He was one of the kids at their school, and his dad was like rich or something. And he had
okay.
like kind of an emo-y haircut, and the whole thing was that they kept getting attacked by this evil White Ranger, but like they didn't know it was him.
Right.
I remember that vividly.
Okay.
And then eventually, yeah, he got brought over to their side, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think I ever liked him very much because he had a flying Zord as well, similar to the Yellow Ranger.
It was a pterodactyl or something, right?
But then the Yellow Ranger's one was a pterodactyl as
it
well.
was a pterodactyl.
It's
No,
like-
wasn't it the... No, the Yellow Ranger... Oh, wait. Do you mean the Yellow Ranger in Dino Thunder?
Yeah,
Was it a pterodactyl?
it was a flying.
Oh, because
creature.
they all had powers as well. That was the other thing
Yeah.
that was cool about the show is they all had like a power
Yeah.
outside of being a Power Ranger, and hers was that she could go ah and it would like.
Oh my god! Yeah, I
Remember?
forgot about that.
The Blue Rangers was like a shield,
Yeah,
and then
because
like
he was a Triceratops.
think
I
so.
think.
And then the other guy.
He has a T-Rex.
Yeah, what was his
So,
power though? Was it just
Strong.
I
But
think
they're all strong, aren't they?
yeah, but I feel like maybe it was something to do with his kicks. I remember there was something to do with him like doing like a kicking a football and a goal, and it went like when everyone's like, "Whoa," and he's like, "How did I do that?"
Okay, I
I
don't
really
remember that.
vividly. We need to sit down and watch the first episode of Dino Thunder. I think.
Oh, I would be up for
yeah,
that.
and the rest.
The next one, which I watch a lot of as well, is SPD, Space
See, I
Patrol
didn't.
Delta.
But I have a nephew who's 4 years younger than me, and I vividly remember him having like toys and stuff.
Yeah, I had
Of
the
that one.
what's it called? The morphin thing.
Oh yeah,
You
I
press
had
the
one of
button
those,
and you're like SPD emergency.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and that's the one that had like a dog as the like mentor.
Of course it did.
Guy. And then Mystic Force, Operation Overdrive, Jungle Fury, RPM, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers re-release, Samurai, Super Mega Force, Dino Supercharged, Super Ninja Steel, Beast Morphers, and Dino Fury.
How?
There's literally so many of them.
Do you know about the fact that like how they get made, like Power Rangers?
In what way?
So like the show, at least this is the early ones. I don't know what happens now. I imagine it's something similar, but maybe they do it slightly differently. All the stuff where they're Power Rangers is just footage from a Japanese TV show, and then they take
Yes,
that,
I did know that.
film the American kids, and they just put that alongside it to make their own narratives for it, which is kind of cool, kind of insane. Like,
yeah, it's wild.
it was because obviously it was originally to sell toys. Like, really, they didn't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
but obviously it's huge now, and it spawned a fan film that we watched.
It did, yes. Next question. What do you think of fan films / fan fiction in general?
Not a massive fan.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like, I don't care particularly, and I think like there's something to it, and obviously there's that fun element of like, oh, these characters, like what would I do with them? What would I want to happen? I do think putting so much time and effort though into something like this, and I don't know if those feelings necessarily apply to this, because I do have positives about this. I would argue quite a few positives.
Okay.
But I think in general, it just feels like a waste of time, and 9 times out of 10, it's not good. Like, it's never going to be, because you're like, not only are you making something that I feel like the creative element of it is kind of been, it's a wrestling thing between wanting to do a good job at telling a story, but also wanting to do the cool thing in your head that you're like, oh, this is going to be cool, when actually 9 times out of 10 it never is.
Yeah. I do agree with you. I think there is something about companies owning these properties and like putting that in the hands of the fans, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like you know, like Disney control fucking everything now.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of sad that like no one can make another Star Wars thing without their permission or whatever. But then also it's like it keeps the integrity of it kind of.
Yeah, I think the thing is we don't need like 50 of something.
Yeah.
I think it's that thing of
Do something unique.
yeah, and I think, don't get me wrong, it's fine to be a fan of something. I just think the problem is a lot of fan films aren't made by people who like
Care about it.
yeah, not that like they care about the thing it's about, but they don't particularly care about film. Or they don't care about telling a story, and I think that's where it falls flat. Is 9 times out of 10 it's just somebody. And then I think the other thing I was going to say is it's the budget restriction. Then we're so used to seeing a lot of these things with high budgets that then to make something with a low budget, it becomes just kind of lame. And I think like I don't know, people sometimes. I don't know. You're not. I think one of the big things actually is when a film is made, a good film based on an IP or something, and like a character or a comic or something. The best versions of those are ones that reinterpret those things. And I think the problem is most fan films aren't reinterpretations. They're just mimics of what they've seen. Yeah. 9 times out of 10. It's just like, I want to do it this way because I liked this way. When really, we don't need that. That exists. Yeah. And it's cool that you want to do that, but like, I don't know.
Which I think is very akin to this. Because they were like, I want to do Power Rangers, but gritty.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Should we start with some good?
Yeah, start with the good, definitely.
So, just to kind of set the scene of what this film is about, the opening is the war right,
Yeah.
between the machines. And then we go into this interrogation with Kimberly and Rocky, and we slowly go through how each of the Power Rangers has died
Yeah.
before revealing that Tommy is there. He fights Rocky, and then it's revealed that Kimberly is actually Rita,
Yeah.
who is the main villain from the first
And she
couple
killed
of
all the
seasons.
Rangers.
She killed all of them, and then Tommy is like, "Oh, I'm going
And
to
I
fight
guess
you now."
Tommy just kills her. He just kind of goes,
Yeah. And now she's dead. But no, you don't actually see that. It's just kind of the start of the fight, and as you cut to black.
Mm-hmm.
What did you like?
I think it's very, very well shot.
Interesting. Okay.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I do think there are elements and sections of it where I think it's more the editing that's letting it down, but it doesn't look great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the most part, there are some really good shots. I think the transition between Katie Sackhoff, by the way, who plays Kimberly, who's really good in it, I think, also a plus to the thing. I think in general, all the actors were pretty good. I don't think...
There was a moment I didn't like, but yeah, for the most part, they were pretty good.
I wonder if it's the same moment. We won't talk about it till later.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's the same moment, because I also have one moment. But I think that's more writing than it is the actors.
Maybe.
But the shot that cuts between her when she's sat talking to him, and then it cuts to her in the wedding veil.
Oh, the match cut.
Yeah, such a good cut.
Really like that cut.
So good. Like, really blew me away when I was watching it. I was like, oh, okay, this is good. Like, this is shot well.
Yeah, no, it was a nice match cut.
And I think in general, the coverage in a lot of those scenes is very, very good. I really liked the structure of it. I think the idea of the going between the interrogation, it's not like anything brand new, like it's obviously stuff we've seen, but I think they did it well and the pacing works for it.
Yeah.
And I think the casting for the most part is pretty good. It's I think it maybe needed something at the beginning to establish the Rangers better as to who, just because
it very much relies on you knowing who these people are.
Yeah,
already.
I think it's that thing of just, I do know who those Rangers are, and that's maybe the issue, is that then it's jumping to someone and I'm like, oh, is that meant to be...
Because it's not the same actors.
Because they don't even look the same. Like, the guy playing Jason looks nothing like the original Jason, whereas the guy playing Zach does kind of look like the original Zach. And it's like, you need to pick a lane maybe as to, are we going for like, these are completely different looking characters, like, but they are the characters we know? Or are we casting lookalikes to the show?
Yeah.
Because then you could argue then with Katie Sackhoff looks nothing like Kimberly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, it was an odd one for me where there was some of the people it was cutting to. I was like, who is this?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's probably worth noting that Rita is played by, what's her name? Carla Perez, who actually played Rita in the
that was
show.
her.
That was her.
Oh, she looks so different at the end. That
but-
I didn't even know. That's really sad.
Yeah, that is actually her.
That's cool.
She is the only one to reprise her role.
She didn't speak any English. Did you know that?
Did she not?
All her lines were dubbed because, like I said, it was a Japanese show, and like she was in Power Rangers, like not in the Japanese show, not the American one technically.
Right.
So they just, if you watch the show, she never is matching her lips because like somebody's just going Rangers and like doing her voice. That's cool. They got her. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. All of the rest of them rejected the role.
That's a shame. I'm not gonna lie. And I want to say as well, rest in peace to Jason David Frank, who I think passed away
very recently, Yeah.
which is such a shame.
Yeah.
But the fact he turned it down is kind of crazy to me because I feel like he did a lot of like
he
fan project stuff. But then I guess it's the dark gritty thing. Maybe is
he
what
made a
turned him
video
away.
about it. And
Okay, I do. Because we should also say we've both seen this before.
we have both.
Yeah,
seen this before.
a long time ago I watched it.
Probably around when it came out.
What was it, 2015? You say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been. I remember reading about it when it came out and watching it.
So yeah, Jason David Frank, who plays Tommy,
Yes.
who is a fan favorite. He is in so many of these
And he
shows.
kept coming back.
And
like
people
we said, he was
love
in
him.
the later series.
He was, yeah, because he had I watched some like Watch Mojo videos about it.
Yeah.
And he has some like cool moments in the later series where he has to like fight himself as a robot.
Cool.
And like they will get these like super morph bracelet things, so he can morph into any of his Rangers from previous iterations.
That's cool.
So he's jumping between his like Dino
Very
Thunder costume
cool.
and his Neo costume.
I wonder what
or
kids
Zeo.
who were watching that thought was happening.
Yeah.
Because like I don't think they watched the 1993 one for the most part.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
But he made a video about it, and he said in the video he read the script and he thought it was interesting, but
When it's like the spirit of
it's
what
a
it was.
PG-13 brand.
Yeah.
Kids are probably going to be exposed to this film, and
Yeah.
it just does not fit the brand at all.
Interesting.
And it doesn't sit well with him, that kind of that vibe, so he turned it down on that basis.
Yeah.
Austin St. John, who I think plays one of the Red Rangers. I'm not sure which one.
I'm pretty certain that's the original Jason.
Jason, okay.
Like, sorry, Jason, not Rocky. Jason. I think I might be wrong
Okay.
on that.
He also turned it down. He didn't give any personal opinions on what he thought of the film or anything like that, but he said it. He said he doesn't want to do it, and he said it was like it all works towards an idea and it like is well executed, independent of whether he likes that direction or not. Yeah.
Did anyone else comment on it? Because I feel like they must have reached out to the Pink Ranger.
Yeah, she said she liked it.
Okay.
She just did a tweet and was like, "Wow, check this out."
That's cool. I mean, it's cool they got Katie Sackhoff. She's a relatively big actress. She's in The Mandalorian now. She's Bo-Katan.
Yes, she's Bo-Katan.
Yeah, I mean, she's always been Bo-Katan, but now she's like on screen as Bo-Katan.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool they got her. She's very, very good in it, like I said.
She said that in one of the video, I don't remember which one of them was, whether it was Austin or Jason, said that they knew her personally and they'd been at like Comic-Con or something and she hadn't told them that she was in it.
Oh, wow.
And they were a bit like, it's fine, it's whatever. But I was like, oh, come on, that's a bit rude. Like, why didn't you say you were in this?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I've got on
like the info stuff.
Yeah, on the info stuff. Apart from the fact that there is a red band version of this on Vimeo
with boobies in it.
Yes, so there's a couple of different bits that the top down shot of Zach.
Yes, I assume that would be it.
I think those bras are actually like CG'd on.
Weird.
I think because the original shot is them topless.
That's the original Oppenheimer.
And then the scene where he's like fighting that stick.
Yeah.
They're like having sex in the background, and it's very audible.
So pointless.
It's so pointless. So yeah. When this film was released on February 24th of 2015, it was featured on so Vimeo have like a showcase thing they do on the main screen.
Yeah.
It was featured on the February 25th, so the next day.
Yeah.
The following day, the owners of Power Rangers, I can't remember their name. Saban. They requested it be removed. It was removed entirely from Vimeo, not just from the showcase, but completely. And then February 26th, it was put back up again.
And Saban were like, okay.
Yeah, it just flew by.
We tried. Yeah, it's fascinating. I don't know. That's odd.
Very weird. All over the place.
I do think one of the main good things I want to talk about with this film is that as much as earlier when we were talking about fan films, talking about like shit talking, the idea of like all these people don't want to tell stories and all this sort of stuff, whatever. Yeah. I do think this is clearly someone who had a story they wanted to tell or had something in mind. I do think it kind of derogatory of stuff like it's kind of doing the exact thing that Watchmen did, which is be that like, except Watchmen, because the original Watchmen was going to use loads of like random DC characters, and then at the last minute DC were like, we're not going to let you do that to Alan Moore, and so Alan Moore just made all the characters original characters.
Okay.
But originally they were all going to be random, low, like nobody gives a shit DC characters.
Yeah.
And it's a murder mystery. So like arguably they're doing the same thing with this. They've just actually used the characters.
Yeah.
It's just rethinking this world of like where it's set and like that dark and gritty thing, which I'm not a massive fan of that like whole idea of making stuff dark and gritty, but
it was the era for it, wasn't it?
It really was. I think it would just coming out of it, if arguably, because like, I want to say like 2008 arguably is when it started with like the Dark Knight being popular.
Yeah, but then around that time was when you got Batman v Superman. You got Man of Steel.
But then they didn't do well.
No, they didn't.
So I think it was coming out of it
when it was happening.
Yeah.
You had all the YA stuff just happening.
Yeah, true.
Can't remember what else there was, but yeah, it was that era.
Yeah, I also want to say for the most part, the fight choreography was very good.
I think I want to come onto that later.
Yeah, I think
personally
the scene with Zach, his fight scene, I think was very well done in terms of the choreography.
Right.
And I think the final fight was fine.
It was okay.
And also the CG in it was very good.
I like the Zord, the Megazord.
Megazord.
It's
Megazord. The Megazords at the beginning, that whole fight scene, like the way they did it so sparingly is interesting. I think that's good.
It was a really good choice for like an opening. It really like hooks you.
I kind of want to come back to that.
Okay.
I think the way the camera just kind of pans past it almost without really focusing on it makes it seem real in a cool way.
Yeah.
And I also think later on the fact that like the bit where they're sat in the cell and there's all the stuff going on around them.
Oh, that's CG stuff.
Yeah,
it looks good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Like the fact I didn't sit there going, "Oh, this is CG."
Yeah.
Like I was just watching it. I did for a minute think about how funny it was that the actor playing Rocky, James Van Der Beek, him sat there pretending to do the air thing. I always think that's funny in films and stuff. Whenever you're watching a film, it's a sci-fi thing, and there's weird little screens that pop up out of the ground or whatever, or like just in the air.
Yeah.
Just imagine them filming.
Or like magic and stuff, like Marvel with Scarlet Witch. That's a big one.
Weird
Doctor
hand
Strange.
gestures. Yeah, I'm like, wow, this is horrible for you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it because you made it look great. Like, it looks cool somehow.
Yeah, no, I think overall this film looks good.
Yeah, 100%.
The production quality is obviously there. The actors were very good.
Yeah.
Most of the editing was good. There are a couple of bits I didn't like. You don't like a lot of it?
I can come back to it.
Okay. I don't even know if I'm not sure if I have anything else to say.
Me neither.
Good. Oh, I liked the hip hop.
I want to come back to that.
Okay. It was the only bit that fit the like goofy Power Rangers thing.
Yeah.
I would argue.
I like the idea of it
Yeah.
a lot. Like, and it's funny.
But then obviously it doesn't fit in this film. That's just me being like...
I don't even know if it's a case of it not fitting in this film. I talk about it in a hot sec.
Should we just go on to bad? I feel like we've not got much else we want to say.
My problem with that video bit is it comes out of nowhere. It's so jarring to the tone the film has set that it doesn't work where it is. I think if you put it in the bit where Zach comes through the roof and then he's talking to them and then the guy says, "Oh, the guy from the dance video." If he said that and then it cut to Zach looking a bit like, ugh, and then it cut to the video, it would be funny.
Okay.
And I think it also, even if it was like maybe on in the base, like a throwaway gag, like it's they're watching TV before he bursts through, and it happens to be on the TV. It's his weird dance video.
Yeah.
And then he bursts through, and then we don't draw attention to it. It just happened, and it'd be a funny little thing where you're like, oh wait, he's doing weird little exercise video. Is that how he's famous?
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I think like the idea's there, but I just think when it comes in, it's so jarring and so bad. Like it really doesn't work for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you like the idea of a dark and gritty Power Rangers?
No.
No, me neither.
It's
so pointless.
It's so pointless. I think, here's the problem. I do think the idea of a mature version is interesting.
Okay.
I like the concept of like, oh, we live in this weird dystopian world. I don't quite get what's going on in terms of like, is Rocky a ranger?
No, he's defected to the machines.
What does that mean? Who the fuck are
I
the
don't
machines?
know, man.
The machines were never the bad guys, right? It was like a witch woman.
Rita?
Yeah, she's... Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying,
what I
though.
thought.
So I don't...
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know
we're
where...
missing something.
Maybe we just don't remember the original series well enough.
I don't know. It was Ivanus and Rita. That was it. That was the big gold guy who was played by Bryan Cranston, weirdly.
Was he?
He was voiced by him.
Oh,
the big gold guy with the dog face.
Bryan Cranston was in the film.
No, I'm telling you. Look it up.
He was also in the film.
Yeah, he was. He
the
played
new film.
Zordon, which also they never mentioned. I'm like, okay. I think there's a lot of
they do
confusion.
mention it, don't
Do they?
Very, very offhandedly.
Yeah, I was going to say I did not catch it then, or I don't remember it. I think the problem is it does this thing that Zack Snyder, I'd argue, does, where he gets confused with the idea of like mature or dark storytelling with, oh no, I want it to be a 18 or a R-rated.
Yeah.
And that means I can do anything I want.
Swearing and blood and nudity.
Yeah, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you can tell this story and not have it be anywhere near as bloody or like, it's just dumb.
Yeah.
Makes it dumb.
Yeah.
The opening scene when the Power Rangers are just running, holding guns.
They have guns. Why the fuck do they have guns?
Dude, the opening shot of... You see, it's literally like they're doing a live, like they're reenacting a shot from Halo. Like it looks like they're NPCs or like people in multiplayer walking around where they have the weird thing where their torsos kind of animate differently to their legs.
Oh yeah,
like their legs are running and they're just firing in the air.
Yeah,
and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And also, it's doing the thing where it's trying to be jarring and it's cutting to black and then back and forth and like the sound cuts out. It does it a few too many times for it to be good. Like, it just needs to, like, it should have been like 4 shots or something they did. I think there's like 5 or 6 in there. It's like 4 is enough.
Yeah.
Jumping back and forth between the black screen and what's going on. And then I think those shots should have been more like...
They should have shown something interesting each time.
They should have shown characters. It should have been parts of a story that we just don't fully get, but you can kind of piece together.
Yeah, because
like,
each flash is just the same thing until you see the Zord, and then it's done.
And it's pointless.
And it's like...
I think it's meant to be from Rocky's perspective, from what I can tell, because it's like a red Ranger's glove.
Yeah.
So it must be.
And I thought it was kind of goofy that the knife comes up, and it's like, why the fuck would the Power Rangers have a knife in there?
Because it looks like the blade thing that the Halo guys have.
The energy sword.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I thought the opening was so bad.
Yeah,
outside of the cool Mega Zord bit, which is a great CG, like the fact it looks so good. Like, it doesn't look CG, it's great. But I think it's so bad. And I do think when it goes back to Katie Sackhoff, or it goes first to Katie Sackhoff in that room, and that scene, I think is really strong.
Should
and
we
that saves it.
actually go through this not scene by scene, but like section by section with
I
our
guess
bad?
we-
Because I feel like I have a lot that's like specific to
go
each
for
bit. So we talked about the first bit.
Yeah.
What do you have anything you want to talk about the main interrogation?
Not in the
scenes?
bad. I think for the most part,
No?
that scene's good. Like,
I think it's got massive Michael Bay problems.
in what sense?
So the camera just cannot stop moving.
Okay, yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
There's so many like push-ins of them saying stuff, and it's like he asks her a question and it zooms in and she's like, "Go fuck yourself," and it's like, what the fuck was that for? There's one where he's like, he's like, the only thing I could do in this like fucking waste of a world, I made sure I was on the winning side.
Which also, that's again the thing of the like gratuitous blood and the swearing.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't need to be there, it doesn't fit these characters.
Yeah, and it's like, when you're doing like a push-in on someone, I feel like you want a really snappy line, and they were all so long and like meandery and didn't really get to their point quick enough. Immediately following that push-in where he's like, I made sure I was on the winning side, is a horribly jarring edit from like side profile of his face to him sitting down at the table.
Yeah.
That was awful editing.
Yeah.
It was like a kind of blink and you miss it moment, but it made me feel a bit queasy because it was like
really,
the geometry of the scene was
they've
really
cut
fucked up.
something out from there.
Yeah.
I think in general the editing of this film is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needed to like be re-edited. Like, it's only minute things, but it is the thing of like not cutting movements properly. And like, you can get away with that once or twice, but like it happens so often.
Yeah.
And some of the cuts are so bad, especially near the end with some of the fighting. It's so bad, and it fucks the pacing. Which I think is going to be a theme for this week and next week. Yeah, I don't know. I to be honest, I didn't clock it, but now you say it, I can picture it, and you're right. In that scene,
there's also a shot, a sliding shot from below the table, and as each of them's talking, they push it in so that their faces are red, and then as they go under the table, their faces turn to blue because of the glass of the table.
Yes.
And they do it for both of them exactly the same, and it's like, that feels like it should be some kind of symbolism, but it's just not. It's just they were like, oh, that'll look cool.
It's cool,
It's
and we
cool.
have it.
Let's do it.
We have the shots.
So it's like I feel like that could have been a really good indication of something. I don't know, maybe the fact that she's actually Rita, it's like kind of like, oh, she's actually in the red, she's actually a baddie. Something along those lines, I don't know, but they just didn't do anything with it. They were just like, it looks cool, I guess, let's put it in. Some of the dialogue in that scene is fucking awful.
Some of the dialogue in the whole film's awful.
Bullshit is an ugly colour on you. I prefer pink.
Okay, here's what I'll say. Bad line, but I do think I think there is good subtle exposition being laid out within
that she's the
line.
Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
I think in terms of what they're doing, it worked, I guess. But then again, I think it comes down to, again, the thing of like the gratuitous swearing is so dumb.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's what they're doing.
The exposition dump at the... I mean, like, I don't know what you could do to get around with this, but the exposition dump in the first interaction they have, and she's like, oh, you didn't even wait until we disbanded and stuff like that. And it's like, You're just rolling out the information
Yeah.
as fast as you possibly can.
But it feels like they had disbanded.
Yeah, you
From
didn't
what we
need to
know,
say
so
it.
it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Who was the first one? Was it Zach?
No, the first one was Jason because it goes
Jason.
to her wedding, which is a great shot.
Good
like I
match
said.
cut. Yeah, that one was fine, I think.
My least favorite moment in the film, and I think the bit that maybe is bad acting, but I think more is bad line reading, is when Skull and what's the other guy's name?
I have no idea.
It's Skull and Bones or something. They were the
Maybe
guys
look it
who
up.
like the lame bully guys in the TV show, the original show. They're the guys who sell them out and get them. They're the guys who are holding the guns. That are like, we thought we get you, whatever.
Yeah.
With like, they're like with armed like military people, and they're just dressed like fucking
Skull and Bulk,
Bulk. That's
who was
it.
played by Tony Madness Gomez.
God. Those characters are really funny from the original show. I like those characters a lot. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a dark and gritty reboot, maybe just don't include them.
Yeah.
Why are they in this? It's so fucking dumb. And they're two of the people who have been quote unquote murdered by like Tommy or whoever's done it. Well, we know it's
Kimberly
Rita.
yeah.
But like, why? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, because they're not Rangers.
Why the fuck would Rita have killed them?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's stupid.
They're just inconveniences.
Yeah, but I hate the moment they like pull her out of the car. Which also the fact that they like shoot up the car and she's fine doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like,
also, who were those guys? Like, who were the people with Skull and Bulk?
who did they sell them out to? Who's after the Rangers? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
And selling out implies that they're on the same team to start with.
Yeah, and it's like, what?
They were never friends.
No, not really. Like, they went to school together and like they gave them a hard time all the time.
Yeah.
So like, why would they?
Just baffling.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because again, I think it's actually quite a well shot scene in a lot of ways. Like I think the shot where she gets dragged out of the car and she's laying down is a really good shot.
Yeah.
But then like it's stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Zach was next.
Zach is after that because then it shows Skull and Bulk being killed where they've been like, he's
and
like,
then
OD'd or
we
whatever,
go on to
and he's
Zach.
in the bath, which is also stupid because it didn't really. I didn't figure out. It took me a second to be like, wait, is that Skull and Bulk? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
I think she does say it in the narration, but it's just not clear.
But then she says it later on, I think.
Yeah, but then it goes to Zach.
All right, you've already said you don't like the hip hop kiddo
Yeah,
video.
that's fine.
I don't like the choreography very much.
See, I think the choreography's fine. I think the editing fucks it.
It may also be the camera work as well.
Yeah.
I think it's like there's a couple of shots that are so wide that you can see the people around him are not doing anything.
100%.
And it really loses the pacing.
When he first lands in there,
Yeah.
I think the dialogue outside of the really stupid, like, fuck you stuff. Oh my god, the bit where he lands and he says, like, I can't remember what the line is, but he says, like, do this, or, and then he holds up his middle finger.
Oh, yeah.
So what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
That's the lamest thing I've ever seen in my life.
know.
But
Such a loser.
he's such a loser. But not in like a fun way of like, oh, he's written him to be a loser. I think they thought that was very cool. And that makes it so much worse. The conversation between him and the guy, I think, was quite good.
Okay.
And I think that was a cool scene. I like the moment. I feel the moment, which is good. I think his suit is so bad. It looks awful, which is insane because the Power Rangers literally just fucking lycra suits with gloves, boots, and the specific helmet.
Yeah.
And how did they fuck that up?
Yeah.
I get I assume the idea is they've gone for like a dark gritty version of the Power Ranger suits. It looks terrible. Like I could not believe how bad it looked. The helmet's a joke.
It's like the only
Power Ranger suit in the film that we properly see.
that you properly see. Yeah, like all of the others.
We
are
see
just
some
gloves
of
and
Kimberly's and some of Tommy's in like the flashback thing, like just laying in his arms and stuff.
Yeah.
And they look decent from what I can tell. His looked awful. And I also think it's because it's not black, it's like a really dark grey.
Yeah.
That's lame. That's stupid. It's the Black Ranger, that's the whole point. But anyway, I think the choreography for the most part is good. I think the ideas of what's happening in that scene, the way he's surrounded and like the way moves are being thrown around, I think it's the editing and the cuts in there and like there's too many at points. Maybe that's to disguise something going wrong. But I also think there's the bit where he just, and it's also this dark gritty shit where like he suddenly turns around and shoots someone in the face.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, don't need it.
Yeah.
Just have him beat him up. It's fine.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I don't know. There's some cool moments in there. I like the bit where they throw, where Zach kicks the guy and the guy falls back towards like the main guy, and the main guy just pulls out his like knife or sword or whatever, and then just kills his own henchman.
Oh yeah.
That's a cool moment.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like
fun.
shot well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not at all.
Again, structurally, I think it's actually cool and makes sense to like have this scene happen in the film. But then it's like it doesn't warrant its own existence.
Yeah.
By the way they've executed it makes it so it's like, oh, this doesn't need to be in it.
Yeah.
But like, if you really broke down the idea of the film scene by scene, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like,
yeah. It's like a
weird.
good inclusion.
Yeah.
But yeah, execution was bad, so it
And what happened to Zach? Did he get shot in the head? Is that what's supposed to have happened?
In his house, yeah.
Okay.
He says something. He's like, "Oh, I knew you were coming to find me."
Yeah, I couldn't really hear what he said.
And he's like, "Just get on with it." Something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then gets shot. Yeah, his was one of the better ones, I think, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, it's fine. I like the idea of Billy's afterwards.
Billy Cranston.
Yeah.
So the actor is actually gay, isn't he?
Yeah, and there was a whole massive thing about
bullied
him.
offset.
Yeah.
And he quit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the reference there that he was
Which
gay.
I think the actors have like come together since then, like spoken about it and stuff, and like I think they're all good. I might be completely wrong about that.
I don't know.
Um,
It feels like a weird, because there's two moments in this which reference real life.
Yeah.
This is the first one.
Yeah.
The second is Trini's death, or the actress that played Trini.
Yeah, she died.
It feels kind of weird, maybe.
I don't know. I think it's fine. I think the Billy one I'm quite okay with, because I think the story of what's happening with that character fits the character itself in terms of what I remember of Billy as a character.
Yeah.
I think because it seems to be, correct me if I'm wrong, the only reference to him being gay is there's pictures on the wall of him and his husband.
There is another reference.
What's the other reference?
But it brings on a larger subject. He says, Rocky, when he's like flashing back, he's like, "Oh, I went to visit Billy Cranston."
Yeah.
And he says something to the tune of, "Don't worry, he's one of the ones that you would never fuck," kind of thing, because he's gay.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on it being like that. I remember that line. I didn't pick up on it being that. Like, I don't know why.
I don't remember the exact word.
No, I know what you're saying. I remember that line now.
To the context of, like, she's sleeping around with all the Rangers, but he wouldn't because he's gay.
Interesting.
I think that opens a whole box of frogs that I want to come onto in a minute.
Okay.
I
thought that was kind
Billy
of
was fine, yeah.
And then Trini, I think, which is obviously
funeral.
a very quick scene because it's just her being like, "Oh, I knew that he was there."
This scene annoys me from a story perspective.
Okay.
Because they said that Trini was buried whilst they were signing the treaty, which means post-war.
Yeah.
Kimberly died in the war.
Yeah.
The other Rangers would have seen that happen, right?
You say that, but then...
how quickly do you think Rita replaced Kimberly?
Well, you say that they saw that happen, but then they obviously didn't, because this whole time, Rocky, who, again, I'm assuming was a part of the war, isn't talking about that with her.
Oh, what? The fact that she died?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I guess it must have been that Tommy's the only one who knew she was dead.
How would that happen?
I don't know, it's a bad story.
Yeah, because she's there at the funeral. Someone would have been like, "Didn't you die?"
Yeah, it's Tommy. he's in the background like...
But I feel like all of them would have been like, "Didn't you die?" I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me.
I guess
doesn't make sense.
I think the idea is they didn't see her die, and
That's
Tommy's
just
the only
mad.
one who did.
Yeah.
It's a war. You don't see everything that happens.
You would if your squad is made up of like 5 people and you're all in brightly coloured outfits.
You don't know that.
And you're all looking like fucking NPCs shooting at the sky.
You don't know that. I don't know.
Fun, weird question. Who the fuck was driving the Megazord if they were all on the ground with guns?
It does
Is there
its
a
own
thing?
thing.
Yeah, does it do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think you
I
need
don't
to remember them
remember.
to do it, right? They all need to be
I
in
thought
it.
they all needed to be in it.
Oh, well.
Apart from I watched a compilation in Dino Thunder, and they did like the Megazord thing where the white one and the black one combined with them, and the white and the black Ranger are just standing in the back, and they don't have a console. They're just
I remember
there,
that. Yeah, like this is nice. It's like cheat mode.
Yeah, and the other 3 are having to drive it. It's
I
so
don't understand
funny.
why they don't use the Megazord to do with all threats. Like a bunch of like little
Just
ninja
like
guys
bop.
come out, just like,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Anyway,
I think this also brings up the question of, if that is the case, if like we go by the logic of like how didn't they know she was dead? Why did Tommy go missing?
Yeah. And
how would Tommy not have discussed with them like Kimberly's dead?
Yeah, that's why I'm leaving.
So he must have like disappeared immediately after she's gone.
Yeah, she dies in the war and he just leaves.
Yeah.
That must be what happened. And he like buries her or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
not telling anyone, which is a dick
Rita
move.
must be watching this and be like, oh, I can be Kimberly
Imagine
now.
if your friend died and your other friend who was going out with them just like left with the body.
With the body.
Yeah, like they go and bury their partner, who's
and they
your
just
friend,
both disappear.
and they just don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And then you're left like, what happened?
Yeah. And also that leads to the question of like, why did Tommy even come back for Kimberly? Because he knows that it's not Kimberly.
Well, here's the thing. I think what happens is, and I think what they're trying to do is that he comes back at the funeral, he sees Kimberly's there, and he's like, that's not Kimberly. I saw Kimberly die. I disappeared for it. And then he leaves again, and then he starts doing all his stuff where he's visiting all the other rangers, because then he sees that they're all being killed off. And he's like, what the fuck is up with this kid? Who is this other Kimberly? And that's why he turns up.
Right. But the character who was going to all those places was Rocky, not Tommy.
I thought
there was no evidence that Tommy had been to see them.
I guess then he hasn't. Then
he just thought it was Tommy, but it was actually
I thought he
Rita.
was saying that they definitely had.
No.
Then okay, then I guess it's a case of him. Tommy's just been looking for this Kimberly, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
Try and figure that out.
I don't know, man. Makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Also, very quickly, sorry, I forgot to mention, when she's killing Skull and Bulk,
yeah,
she's in her pink ranger costume for some reason. Don't really know why. Because she was in a wedding dress like 30 seconds before that.
I don't think it's 30 seconds before. I'm assuming there's time that's meant to be in between those.
Yeah, and she was like, I'll just go put my Power Rangers suit on
yeah,
and I'll come back and kill you.
I guess she is still a pink ranger at that point. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this world. Like, it's so confusing.
Yeah. Right, that's all of the Rangers, isn't it?
Yeah, then you get to the fight scene, basically.
Stuff, yeah.
The reveal of him being like, I actually had you here to, like, lure him in, doesn't really work like they think it does, I don't think. Because it's like, he's like, I don't actually care about any of what you've said. And it's like, then why the fuck have you been asking it? Like, it doesn't quite work. I get the idea.
This film does not pass the sexy lamp test. For anyone who doesn't know, this is where you can replace a female character in a film with a sexy lamp and it performs the same story function.
Which sucks because Katie Sackhoff's really cool and she's good in the role. Like, the bits she does have are good, but barely.
And there's these, like, horrid... like, Rocky has these horrid implications with her about, like, sexual assault.
I was just about to say, that bit where he like puts his hands on her leg and shit. And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
And then like he implies that she's like sleeping with all the Rangers.
Yeah.
And there's another bit I think that's like really inappropriate. And it's just like, why are you putting this in? It's just like,
dark
are you trying
gritty,
to?
dude?
It's like, come on, man. It's just
horrid.
horrid.
About, this is where it's like it's lame. It's for the sake of it, and it makes it so awful.
Yeah.
It's not actually built into what the story is.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
It's just.
And it makes the Rangers even dumber. Like,
yeah.
Because you're putting them in like this really ridiculous world, more ridiculous than it was already in, and you're like, what's the fucking point?
What's the point of any of this, man? The final fight,
not great.
It was
It's really slowly paced. Against the editing, just fucks them, like makes them look stupid. The way it ends with him putting his like robot leg onto his arm is so dumb. It's like, what are the chances that was gonna happen? That he was gonna land perfectly, like, with one arm out, which hold his sword as well.
Yeah.
And then he was gonna get the chance to really slowly go, and like put it on top. It's so dumb. And it's all for the sake of her to then get up and shoot him and reveal that actually I'm not Kimberly. I'm Rita.
Yeah.
And I guess she's gonna try and mind control Tommy again. I don't understand why she reveals she's like, I don't know. Because surely Rita can like transform into anyone.
I feel like I didn't even know that was one of
why
the
transform
powers,
into someone he knows is dead? Why not transform into somebody he thinks is alive and then like come to him and be like, Billy, Tommy even, and then take him over? Surely it seems to be as simple as her just whispering shit.
Yeah. I mean, she killed all the other ones without anyone knowing, so...
Exactly. So
just
why...
take one of their
she
places.
seems to want Tommy. So, yeah, I don't know. It's fucking... doesn't make any sense. Stupid.
Yeah, it's mad. It's absolutely wild.
Maybe, though, the Power Ranger itself doesn't make sense and it's stupid. And if we go back and watch an episode of Power Ranger, we'll be like, oh, actually, the fan film's really good. It's really accurate to the source material. None of this matters.
A lot of people really liked this film.
I know, of course they did. This
Yeah,
always
they're
happens with fan films and stuff like this. They're
they're
like,
like,
this
"We
is
need it."
what we wanted. And it's like, this is why you shouldn't get what you want.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
There was talk of this being produced into like a full feature film or
Yeah.
a TV show.
I mean, it's been, 8 years? So hopefully that's not happening. We don't want that to happen. It sounds like the worst timeline.
Yeah.
Best movie ever or worst movie ever?
Is that the options? Can we do like the... By the way, there's no nitpicks. It's just good and bad. I don't think any of these are nitpicks.
No, it's all bad, isn't it?
If I have one nitpick, it's that we didn't get to see all the Power Rangers suits.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to see them. That's what I'm saying about the beginning. I think should have been more of a thing of having seen the characters who are meant to be the Rangers interacting or something, just tiny moments.
Yeah. Also, didn't Tommy become the White Ranger?
At some point, I guess this is before that.
But he's the Green Ranger before that.
Yeah.
The suit looked black to me. Is that just my eyes?
I think it's just because of the bad production design. I think it's the thing of like I said, it's like the Black Ranger's costume isn't black; it's like light grey.
Yeah.
I think they've gone for this weird modern thing,
And it had like the weird arc thing over the back of it that was like techie.
Yeah, I mean he has
Wasn't sure what that was
he
about.
has the shoulder like chest piece that he's always had, the gold.
Right.
And I think they just made it into a bit more of a weird techie thing rather than just the gold
fair
plating.
enough. I mean, I as I said, my first one was Ninja Storm or whatever, so I didn't really watch this original series.
Ridiculous.
I had to go and look up who all these characters were.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I
right.
remember all of them.
I had to figure out who the fuck Tommy was and why he was so important.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. And then I realised he was in Dynathlon, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Tommy's great.
Yeah.
If you got pulled into questioning because all the short films we had watched had been murdered,
Oh no.
and they thought it was Tickle Monster, right?
Okay.
No, sorry, they thought it was The Neighbour's Window, right? And you get pulled into questioning, they talk to you about it, and you're like, I don't know where The Neighbour's Window is. And they're like, we think you do. And then The Neighbour's Window turns up, because it turns out you're using it as bait.
Which film was using me as bait?
Fuck, wait, I've got lost in my own metaphor.
Your metaphor is too complex.
You're being interrogated by the Power Rangers movie.
Oh, okay.
The fan film.
Right. This is so confusing.
The Neighbour's Window, hear me out. The Neighbour's Window turns up and they get into a fight. And there's a point where the Power Rangers film has a robot leg. And it puts its robot leg on the arm that's holding the sword they're battling with. Only one sword between them. On the Neighbour's Window's arm that has a sword in its hand.
Okay.
Do you get out of your handcuffs and shoot Power Rangers, or do you let Power Rangers kill the Neighbour's Window?
No, I shoot the Power Rangers.
Oh, but then you're just fulfilling the prophecy. You're just becoming the Power Rangers fan film if you
Oh,
do
God. But then I don't want the neighbour's windows to die.
that. Same. I would
It's a
shoot
conundrum.
Power Rangers.
Okay.
I'd
Alright.
risk the repetition of the circle.
I think I would as well. If you were Rita in this film, how would you kill the Power Rangers film?
I'd tell the film to make it a dance video, like Zach's.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it's made the dance video, I'd say you have to now do this dance video forever, and you're never allowed to drink water or eat, and then just watch them slowly crumble.
A slow death.
Yeah, but worth it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Are we on to the quiz?
Yeah, let's go into the quiz.
That was a bad film.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know if it was bad. It wasn't great. I think we've seen worse films.
It's quiz time.
Quiz time, quiz time. Uh-oh, gotta answer questions.
Are you going to do the bit
What's the bit?
where you say what we're doing?
I was about to say what
yeah,
it was.
okay,
It's not a bit. I just explain it every time. I'm just bad at it. It's never a bit. Never do bits. Every week, we ask 3 questions to whoever has chosen the film. The 3 questions are cinema related, obviously. If you get all 3 of them right, you get a bonus point, which is a victory lap. You get a bonus question, which is worth a bonus point, which is a victory lap. If you get all 3 wrong, you get a pity point question, which is the same thing. And if you get 1 or 2 right, if you get 1 right and 2 wrong, or 2 right and 1 wrong, or 2 wrong and 1 right, then you don't get anything extra. And yeah.
Very fluid and succinct
I'm so
explanation
tired.
there.
I'm so tired. Anyway, who was Russell Crowe speaking of when he said, "I've seen him walk down the street in Malta drunk as a lord and just hit anybody he got near to, even a man walking with his children"? In which recent film would you see Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver portraying a couple caught in the storm of an increasingly vicious and often hilarious separation? Finally, which 90s movie had the tagline, "You won't know the facts until you've seen the fiction"? Those are your questions.
I think this is a tough week for me.
Really?
The first one is it's Gladiator, I'm pretty sure. But
It's not. Is who was
I know.
speaking of.
I don't remember what the bad guy was called. I don't think I've seen the film.
I don't think it's a quote from a film. It's just him talking about someone.
What did he say, sorry?
Who was Russell Crowe speaking of when he said, "I've seen him walk down the street in Malta drunk as a lord and just hit by anybody he got near to, even a man walking with his children." Sorry, and just hit anybody he got near to. He's talking about some guy who got drunk in Malta and like walked around hitting everybody he got near to.
Why would anyone know that? Did you know that?
No, I wouldn't have got this.
Tom Cruise.
No, it'd be amazing. Oliver Reed.
Who the fuck is Oliver Reed?
He's an actor, I think.
Okay.
Like an old actor.
This one is oh my god.
I do know it. I do know it.
They wrote a hit film
Marriage
this
Story.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Written by Noah Baumbach and partially Greta Gerwig, I believe.
Yes.
The same way Barbie has been. And which 90s movie had the tagline, "You won't know the facts until you've seen the fiction"?
I do know it, I think. I think I'm going to kick myself when I get it wrong.
Okay.
I think I really distinctly remember hearing that tagline
Okay.
about a film from the 90s, did you say?
Yeah.
The Shawshank Redemption.
It's Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah, of
You won't
course.
know the facts until you've seen the fiction.
Yeah,
Okay, so you got 1 point.
I did.
I'll give you the 3 questions just for the fun of it. True or false? The James Bond organization Spectre means Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion. True or false?
True.
That's true. No one has ever won a Best Actor/Actress Oscar for playing a Nazi. It's a really good question. I don't. Actually, I do know. No, I don't.
Oh,
No, I don't know.
there's one that I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna say it says won an Oscar.
No one has ever won a Best Actor/Actress Oscar for playing
Oh,
a
so a
Nazi.
leading role,
That's Best Actor/Actress.
not supporting. Okay, false.
It's true.
Oh wait, sorry. I said it the wrong way.
No.
It's fine. I said
I said
it the wrong way around.
around.
I did.
Yeah, 'cause
I meant that
I
no one had ever won one.
yeah, well, it's
Which is
not
the
what you
wrong-
said.
Yeah, I know. It's
It doesn't
fine.
matter anyway.
I know.
Yeah, because I was thinking of Christoph Waltz for Colonel Hans Lander, but then that was a
That's
Best Supporting Actor.
Also, what I was thinking.
Dick Van Dyke's name was spelt wrong on his star on the Walk of Fame.
True.
That's true. Technically got all 3 right.
Yeah.
It's even the point of having a chance at holding the book if I don't get to look.
Because that's the rules. I make the rules.
Well,
Thanks for listening, folks. It's
Yeah.
been a pleasure.
make sure to hit subscribe and or like. Okay, choose one.
And then also,
Leave a comment.
no, you got to hit that bell.
Oh, and hit the bell icon. Just
But
for
you
the
can
fun
only
of
do
it.
that if you hit the subscribe button.
We'll see if to
So it's
sacrifice.
decide your destiny, really.
Yeah. If you do hit subscribe, make sure to hit dislike. That's the rules.
To balance it.
Yeah. Comment of the week will be right down below.
Which season of Power Rangers was your favourite?
Yeah,
Obviously.
and if you had to kill any of the Power Rangers, which one would you kill first? And then which one would you kill last? And it has to be, and when I say the Power Rangers, I mean every single Power Ranger from across every, like all 30 odd seasons. What was it, 29?
Yeah,
Across all 29 seasons, you have to kill all of them. So which one do you kill first and which one do you kill last?
There's more than 29 seasons. There's 29 iterations.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
And then also who would be the 32nd Ranger you would kill?
Because there's 32 iterations, isn't there, Alex?
No. I just meant like because there's more. Obviously, there's more than 29 iterations of the Rangers.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, there's 29 iterations of the Rangers, which means there's more than 29 Rangers because there's always
There
like
is.
5 or 6 Rangers, maybe more.
How many do you reckon there are? Like
Too many.
200? 300?
Too many, whatever the number.
Yeah.
So therefore, I want to know what the 32nd Ranger is you would kill as well as the first and last.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the comment.
Okay.
Until next time, you won't hear us, but
But
we'll
we'll
see
see
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.